This is Jack Carter, broadcasting on frequency 107.4. If you're out there, if anyone's still alive, please respond. I've been holed up here for months. Maybe longer. Hard to tell. Time's a slippery bastard out here. The generator hums low, a heartbeat I can't trust. And outside, the Shamblers stir in the muck. Their bones grind. Their flesh sloughs off in wet clumps. They don't feel the cold. I do. Sarah's wrench rests beside me, its handle smooth from years of use. She carried it everywhere. Before the world ended. Before I lost her. And today, I saw something I still don't fully grasp. Something that blurred the lines between unraveled truth and nightmare. I was hauling old Maud along the edge of Brinemarsh, that stinking swamp where the air's thick with decay and the water's black as tar. They say about 2,000 souls used to cling to life out there, but all I've seen for months are Shamblers swaying in the reeds. Needed supplies, so I kept my eyes peeled. There's a stretch of road past the marsh, a path I've taken 100 times, maybe 1,000 even. And yet, early this morning, in the middle of the storm, I saw a house where no house should be. Must have missed it so far. The sky had been black all day, thick with rain. But when the lightning came, there it was, a farmhouse, hunched and waiting. Killed the engine, sat in the silence, the steady rhythm of rain hammering Maud's hood, a reminder of both the present storm and memories of quieter times. With a hesitant breath, I stepped out, the wind blowing cold and sharp. My boots sank into the mud, rain running down my face, dripping from my chin. Old house loomed ahead, dark and still. But the moment I set foot on the porch, the door groaned open. Of course it did, I thought to myself. Slipped into my head like it belonged there. The door's open, 'cause I'm here. The logic felt so natural, so right, that I nearly stepped inside without thinking. Then something in my gut made me stop. This ain't right. Cracked through my mind like a gunshot. I stared at the doorway, unease crawling under my skin. The door hadn't just opened. It had been waiting, inviting, and somehow, for a moment, I'd accepted that. The rain pounded harder. The wind howled through the trees. I should have turned back. Instead, I stepped inside. Curiosity. Maybe. Hoped to find some ammo. Some tools. Batteries, possibly. Whatever the reason. The air hit me like a wall. Thick, damp, and stale, like something died and never left. My flashlight carved through the dark, revealing clawed-up walls, deep gashes in the wood. Not scratches, not marks, wounds. Then I saw it. What looked like Sarah's necklace, silver chain, but the pendant seemed off, like it wasn't quite the bird I remembered. Resting on a table split clean in half. She wore it every damn day, ever since I'd given it to her. Until she didn't. My fingers barely brushed the metal when I heard her voice. Jack. Soft. Close. I turned so fast I nearly slipped, wrench raised, but the room was empty. Just shadows breathing in the corners. The whisper came again, curling around me like smoke. You left me. Jack, you left me. The hallway ahead stretched long, too long. The walls gleamed wet, pulsing like they were alive. Air thickened, pressing into my lungs. Every nerve in me was screaming to get out. But I couldn't stop myself. And the door at the end opened on its own. Like it had been waiting. The hallway pulled me in. The deeper I walked, the more the house breathed, the walls weeping duck streaks, the floorboards shifting under my boots like muscle and tendon. My breath came too loud, too ragged, swallowed by the silence between each step. At the end of the hall, a single door stood ajar. And of course, it made sense. It was always going to be open. That thought slithered through me again, calm, unquestioned. But this time, I caught it faster. No, that ain't how it goes. My grip tightened on the wrench. The air reeked of decay, and something sweet, something familiar. I pushed the door open. The room beyond just didn't sit right. Not 'cause of the dark, or the wet glisten on the walls, or the damp smell of something long dead, but 'cause I knew this place. A shattered mirror leaned against the far wall, its broken edges dull with age. I'd seen it before. I had. I just couldn't remember when. Then, in a sudden flicker of memory, I saw her. Sarah. For a brief moment, she stood at the center of the room, half lost in the shadows, pale as bone, eyes wide with unspoken grief. But then, as if time had jerked backward, I blinked and she was gone. Just an old chair draped with rotted cloth. My pulse slammed against my ribs. My body screamed to leave, but something, some force I couldn't name, held me there. That's when I saw the dog tags. A single chain, half buried in the sludge, metal glinting in the flashlight's glow. I frowned. That ain't right. Sarah never wore dog tags. She had a necklace, a silver chain, a bird pendant, didn't she? A shiver crawled down my spine. My own thoughts felt slippery, like I was trying to hold water. I crouched, reached for the chain. The metal was ice cold against my fingertips. And as I lifted it, the shadows around me shifted. A shape peeled itself from the dark. Too tall, too thin. Its limbs bent at angles that made me feel a sick twist deep inside. The air thickened, wet and choking, the scent of rot suffocating. Then it spoke. Stay, Jack. Be with me. And I knew the voice. Sarah's. Only not Sarah's. Something elsewhere in her voice. The thing lurched forward, and my flashlight flickered out. Darkness swallowed me whole. The dark pressed close against my skin, like damp fabric. The stench of mold turned sour, metallic, blood and something older. My breath came shallow, too loud in the suffocating quiet. Then movement, A wet dragon sound, a rasping inhale, too damn close. I slapped the flashlight once, twice, until it sputtered back to life, just enough to see. It stood in the doorway, its head lolled forward, and for a moment I thought it had no face, just a hollow stretch of flesh. Then it twitched, skin pulled taut, lips peeled back, a grin too wide, too knowing carved itself across its face. And its eyes, Sarah's eyes. My stomach turned. Jack. Her voice dripped from its mouth. Too soft, too close. Why'd you leave me? A cold hand gripped my spine. I took a step back, gripping the wrench so tight my fingers ached. I didn't, I said before I could stop myself. The words felt ripped from my throat. A flicker, doubt, recognition flashed across its stolen face. And just like that, the world shifted once more. The smell of wet earth, the hum of cicadas in the trees, a porch swing, creaking under the weight of my girl, who wasn't supposed to be dead. Sarah. She sat barefoot, knees drawn up to her chest, watching the storm roll in over Tidewall Basin. She turned to me, eyes dark, mouth set in a knowing smile. Lightning flashed, and the memory shattered. I was back in the house. The thing moved. I didn't think. I swung. The wrench connected hard, cracking against bone. The thing reeled, stumbling back, its body twitching and jerking, like it was trying to hold a shape that wasn't its own. It snarled, a voice layered over itself, tangled, wrong. Jack, Jack, please. Lies, nothing but lies. The Remington was slung over my shoulder. I reached for it, fingers closed around the stock. Only 3 bullets left, but the wrench won't do it this time. The thing's head snapped up. It knew. It lunged. I fired. A single shot. The blast tore through its chest, splitting skin and bone. It reeled, arms jerking, its form collapsing inward. For a moment, I thought it was dead. Then I saw what was inside. Not organs, not blood. Faces, twisting, screaming, mouths frozen in silent agony. A man's torn jaw, a woman's sunken eyes, and Sarah's, glassy and wrong, her lips still mouthing my name. But none of it looked real. More like something tried to mimic faces and almost succeeded. Almost. The thing shuddered. Then it started putting itself back together. Wasn't a shambler. Something else. Something new. As if this new reality wasn't full of unknown horrors already. As if the shiver needed to step up the game. I turned and bolted. The house shifted around me as I ran. Walls stretched. Doorways blinked in and out of existence. The floor buckled, rippling like something alive. Every step felt off. like I was running through something instead of on solid ground. Behind me, the thing moved, not footsteps, not the wet slapping shuffle of a shambler. Something else, something skittering. I didn't look back, didn't dare. My shoulders slammed into a doorframe. No, a hallway. It hadn't been there before. Didn't matter. I took it, barreling forward, wrench slick in my grip. My boots hit something wet, the floor giving like raw meat. A whisper crawled up my spine. Jack, you can't leave. The door at the end of the hall burst open. Cold rain crashed against my face. Outside. I was outside. The storm was still howling, wind ripping through the trees, the swamp beyond the house shifting like a living thing. But the air was sharp, clean, real. I stumbled forward, lungs burning. One step, another, almost there. Then I saw it, hanging round my neck. Sarah's necklace. No, not a necklace. My fingers brushed cold metal, slick with rain. My heart stopped. Dog tags. The ones I'd seen in the creature's chest, the ones it had been wearing. The silver chain clinked as I lifted him, my breath turning shallow. The name was worn, barely legible, but I could still make it out. Not Sarah, never Sarah, a soldier. One who died a long time ago, and somehow I'd seen it different. Somehow it had made me see it different. A sick feeling hit me hard. This thing, it ain't just some new breed of undead. It can get inside your head, change things, twist 'em. Ain't a shambler, something worse, something smarter. The air stirred behind me. A whisper. Close. Too close. Jack. I turned, and the door slammed shut. I didn't move, didn't breathe, just stood there in the rain, clutching them dog tags, my fingers locked so tight they shook. My pulse was a war drum in my ears, my own breath a ragged whisper against the storm. The house sat behind me, dark and waiting. I should have run. I didn't, 'cause something was wrong, so wrong. The swamp had gone quiet. No wind, no rain, hammering the trees. The storm was still there, but its sound muted. Like I was hearing it from behind a thick wall, like the world had shifted back just a little to watch. It had gotten into my head. What else did changed? I took a slow, careful step away from the house. Mud sucked at my boots. I looked down. The ground wasn't mud. It was flesh. My stomach flipped. No. The wet, slick ground pulsed beneath me, veins twitching under the surface. My boots had sunk into something too soft, too warm. The world lurched. My vision doubled. The house stretched taller. The trees warped into shapes that wasn't trees at all. Things with too many limbs, watching me with eyes I couldn't see. I clenched my jaw, shutting my eyes tight. It ain't real. It ain't real. A whisper curled round my skull. Oh, but it is. My own voice mocking me. I opened my eyes, and I was still inside the house. I hadn't left. I stood in the same hallway, in the same rotten dark, my boots still planted on that slick, living floor. The walls breathed. A soft, steady heartbeat echoed through the wood. And I was right back where I started, trapped. Something shifted in the black ahead. I lifted my rifle, my breath shaken. 2 bullets left. "You don't leave, Jack," the thing whispered, stepping forward. The hallway stretched, swallowing the light. "You never left at all." I forced myself to breathe, steady, controlled. Bang! The blast tore through the room, and the thing collapsed. Silence. A storm of thoughts racing through my head. Shadows leaving my thoughts. My soul. This time it went down for good. I didn't double-check, though. What mattered was getting out. I ran, the storm roaring at my back, a fury I'd cheated. Pushed Maud to the limit. Needed to get back here. Made it. Obviously. What's a man when his mind's a cage? When the dark doesn't kill you, but keeps you. I sit here, wrench in hand, waiting for the next call, the next storm. The shiver's still hungry, and I'm not sure I've escaped at all. 1 bullet left. Maybe. That one's for me. If you hear your name in the night, don't answer. It ain't what you think. Stay alive. The shiver don't care if you don't. I do, and remember, out here, the dark's got teeth. Stay sharp. This is Jack, signing off on 107.4. If you're out there, if anyone's still alive, please respond.